twisted minds unique.
Welcome back, horror fiends. I am Slash Sister Jen.
And that makes me Slash Sister Jen. Wait, what? Who wrote
How'd
this
that
crap?
happen? Ah, man.
Today, I'm Hallie.
She's Hallie. I'm Jen.
Yes. Today, we're stepping into the twisted world of Thomas Harris with the first ever Hannibal Lecter, and it's not actually spelled that way.
Lector. Lecktor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only spelled that way in this film and in the book.
No, in the film it's spelled that way. Or in the book.
In the book it's spelled Lecter?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one knows why they changed it for this fucking film.
Yeah, because the only time you see it is on like news articles anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or if you have subtitles on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But, we're talking about Michael Mann's Manhunter, which is an adaptation of the Red Dragon book written by Thomas Harris.
Yep. This movie is all neon shadows. Oh, and let me tell you what, I will give it, the color work in this film is fan-fucking-tastic.
Every time they're at Will Graham's house at night, it's just all
beautiful.
fucking blue.
It's gorgeous. But we've got chilling psychology, the icy presence of Brian Cox as Dr. Lecter.
Which, if you ask Brian Cox, he says that he was the ultimate Hannibal Lecter.
I love him as Hannibal Lecter. Not that I don't think he's better. I really don't think he's better than Anthony Hopkins. However, he is fantastic in his portrayal of Lecter in this movie.
If you watch this, not having seen any of the other iterations of Hannibal Lecter, and then you watch Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter, you can kind of see like how Anthony Hopkins pulled or was inspired maybe by Brian Cox's
they were
performances.
friends with each other. So,
ironically, when this film was being made, Anthony Hopkins was playing King Lear in a stage production, and then when Silence of the Lambs was being made 5 years later, Brian Cox was playing King Lear at the same production company.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I mean, their voices are not similar, but they have a very similar cadence when they are playing this character.
The way that they're speaking, it's like the cadence of it is very...
Yes, and you can tell that Anthony Hopkins at least kept some of that inspiration into his character.
The best example of like the cadence and the line delivery was when when we meet Anthony... so he's calling Hannibal Lecter Anthony Hopkins. Brian Cox as Anthony. There we go. As Hannibal Lecter. He rigs his prison phone and calls out to an operator, and he gets a publishing company or whatever, and he's like, "Well, then zip your little index finger down to G."
Yeah.
The way he says it, I was like, "Yeah, that's definitely Lecter right there."
Yeah. He's very charming.
No, he is
very, very charming, and he's very fucking smart.
Right.
So
we get Brian Cox as Dr. Lecter years before Hopkins made it a household name. Because
for sure.
I honestly think that had this been titled Red Dragon, it would have done a lot better.
Yeah,
I mean, it did well, but it did not do as good as Silence of the Lambs,
Yes.
let's face it.
Yes.
And we also have the Tooth Fairy Killer, or as he wants to be called, the Red Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
One of the creepiest villains of the 1980s,
for sure. Yeah, this one still gets under my skin.
I see what you did there. And before we dig deeper, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring-a-ling that gray bell for all the notifications.
It really does help us.
It
Especially
helps
the likes, comments, all of that. We see them. We love you guys.
And we always respond to every single comment. It doesn't matter how... unless you're mean. If you're mean in the comments section...
Then we're just going to delete it.
We're going to delete
Bye.
it. Bye.
We don't accept that in our channel.
Nope. No hate here.
Nope. It's all about love. Even though we're talking about killing people.
I mean, you can disagree with the way we review something. That's fine.
Yes.
Be respectful about it.
Exactly.
That's all we ask.
All right. Now, sharpen your instincts, lock your doors, and don't look too long into the mirrors.
Because it's time to slash our way into Manhunter.
Yes. Will Graham is a former FBI profiler who has retired following a mental breakdown after being attacked by a serial killer, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, whom he captured. Graham is approached at his Florida home by his former FBI superior, Jack Crawford, who is
played
seeking...
by Dennis Farina.
Farina, yeah. Who is seeking help with a new serial killer case.
Yeah. Will Graham's also played by William Peterson.
Yes.
Of the CSI fame.
Yes.
Years
Which
before.
is interesting later when they're... like running around trying to doing a lot of CSI things. I'm like, oh man, his character eventually
in CSI is
yeah.
very much Will Graham from
yeah.
this. From,
yeah.
Promising his wife that he will do nothing more than find evidence and not risk physical harm, Graham agrees to visit the most recent crime scene in Atlanta, where he tries to enter the mindset of the killer, dubbed the Tooth Fairy by police for the bite marks left on his victims. Or their victims, because they're not... I mean, it could be a woman, honestly.
Right.
Odds are no, but...
So Graham, in the time that he is in the... Is it the Leeds house in Atlanta? So while he's there, he realizes that the killer had to have taken his gloves off at some point.
Because there was talcum powder found on Mrs. Leeds, but there was no talcum powder in the house.
Right. And so he realizes that had to have come from inside of the gloves, in which case there must be a fingerprint somewhere on one of the bodies.
God, she's lovely, isn't she? It was maddening to have to touch her with rubber gloves on.
He realizes that he wanted the children and the father
Our people swear he wore surgeon's gloves the whole time. They dusted everything.
to watch what he was doing to the mother, which is why he opened their eyes and they were able to find a latent thumbprint actually, on one of the children's irises, right? Like on the eye.
On the eyeball itself. It was like a partial thumbprint and then like a partial handprint on Mrs. Leeds' toenail.
Right, yeah, where he touched her. Graham then meets with Crawford and they are accosted by tabloid journalist Freddie Lowndes.
Played by the incredibly talented Stephen Lang.
Yes, you guys will know him from all sorts of things. We haven't done Don't Breathe on our channel yet. We will probably.
I want to.
It's an awful movie.
It's a creepy ass film. But he also did play.
It is a good movie, though.
In Avatar as the corrupt colonel or general or whatever that demanded that all blues die so we can take over their land for the resources.
You would recognize this guy. He's been in a lot of things.
You won't recognize him in this because he's young and he's got a full head of curly red hair.
Because both Hallie and I did this to our partners. She said to Amy, like, you know who that is? You know who that is? And I said to Sage, you know who that is? You know who that is? And neither of them knew who it was. But I knew and Hallie knew.
Because we're film buffs. This is why we do what we do.
So, how does this guy compare with Lecter, huh? What does he do to him? How's he doing?
I mean, come on.
It's funny, like, we were talking about this right before we recorded. I was like, oh gosh, we both did that to our partners, didn't we? Oops.
Yes, we did.
I do that a lot.
This is why we do what we do, but this is also why we're friends.
Yes. we're too much alike sometimes. Anyways, so after being accosted by Freddie Lowndes, who this man has written really, really bad pieces about Will Graham.
To be fair, he also does work for a tabloid journal.
Right.
Tabloid. So it's not like true journalism in the in like the sense that he has integrity. He'll do anything to get the fucking story.
Yep. So Graham ends up going and paying a visit to Lecter, who Lecter is, as we know, is a former psychiatrist, who
That's the same atrocious aftershave you wore in court 3 years ago.
ate quite a few of his female victims, his female patients. And he goes to his cell to ask for insights into the killer's motivations.
You came here to look at me, to get the old scent back again, didn't you?
Lecter, man, this interaction between the two of them, this first interaction between the two of them.
If you watch closely the way that it's shot and cut,
yeah,
the bars never change position throughout this entire shot.
Yeah, and their faces are framed exactly the same between the bars.
The reason you caught me, Will, is you're just alike. If you want the scent, smell yourself.
That was Michael Mann's decision to kind of show dichotomy between the two characters and how they're
Right.
very similar, but
They are,
also very
except
different
that-
because one's on the outside, one's on the inside.
Yeah, and obviously one of them is a complete and total psychopath.
Yeah, but
Or maybe both.
so that's the thing, right? That's why Will Graham retired, because he got so deep into the mindset of Hannibal Lecter that he had to step away.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically enough, William Peterson, the actor playing Will Graham in this, got so deep in the role that when he was done filming, he like buzzed his head, dyed it blonde, and shaved his beard off to get out of this mindset of Will Graham.
I get that.
Which is weird, but whatever.
Yeah. So Lecter agrees to look into the case file,
As long
and
as he can look at the crime scene photos.
yeah, of course, because he's a fucking freak. Later, Lecter, we kind of talked about this earlier. He obtains Graham's home address by deceit. He's brought a phone. To make a phone call to his lawyer.
Mind you, the way this phone is designed, it's designed like an old rotary-style phone
with no
rotary.
Yeah.
It's got a plate over it and the wires behind it. There's no way to.
So they have to
out.
dial for him and bring the phone to him,
or it has to ring into him.
Right. So he pops it off, is able to get it to the operator, calls.
I believe
Chicago,
he says.
Right?
I believe he says something like along the lines of, "I have lost the use of my arms, and I need you to dial up a number for me."
Yeah, and they're like, "Sure, no problem, we can do that for you." So he gets on the line with
it's
a publishing company.
It's something along that lines because he's talking about wanting to send a copy of a book to it's actually I think it's Lecter's psychiatrist.
Okay.
Children.
Childress
Or something. Chilton, that's what it is. So he's trying to get Will Graham's address to allegedly send a copy of Chilton's book to Will Graham.
Yes. And he does obtain it that way. And he...
Well, zip that little pointer right on down to the letter G.
All right.
The name we're looking for, last name Graham. The man the book is supposed to be sent to, a Mr. Will Graham.
Makes... this is all while he was faking a phone call to his attorney.
Yes. Graham travels to the first crime scene in Birmingham, Alabama. He is contacted by Crawford, who patches Graham through Frederick Chilton.
The warden.
Warden / psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I mean, in Silence of the Lambs, he's actually a psychiatrist.
Written books about Lecter. He's trying to get famous off of Dr. Lecter.
Trying to. Who has found a note in Lecter's personal effects.
I know that you alone can understand what I am becoming.
Actually, one of the guards did.
Yeah. Written on TP.
The Tooth Fairy. What could be more inappropriate?
Yes.
That's toilet paper for you new
They realize that this is a letter from the Tooth Fairy expressing his admiration for Lecter and an interest in Graham. Crawford brings Graham to Washington, where a missing section of the note is analyzed to determine what Lecter removed.
It's literally burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the
what
edges of it.
No, what he did, they said that he used a felt tip marker and went back and forth over it until it ripped itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, and because then when they go back, they're able to make out the letters because the marker, there was like something with felt tip marker doesn't cover up what a ballpoint pen has, so they could see the ballpoint pen underneath the felt tip marker. That's how they found out that it was Will's address. Anyways, so yeah, the FBI intends to.
Wait.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they figure something out. They figure out how they're
they discovered an instruction to communicate through personal section of the National Tattler, Lowndes,
Freddie Lowndes, yeah.
Newspaper or tabloid paper.
Yes.
It's not a newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, let's be very clear. This is very much like tabloid journalism.
Yeah, like the National Enquirer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why it's probably called the National Tattler.
Right.
As an homage to that.
So they they're trying to figure out the code that they use, like what book to even look into.
They initially think it's the Bible because it's
right, because it's
John,
Bible verses. Yeah,
right. Well,
it sounds like
they thought it
verses.
was Bible verses. Yeah.
But they can't figure it out, so they plan to, plant a fake advertisement to replace Lecter's, but without the proper book. God, I've got hiccups, you guys. I've got the hiccups.
Take a drink of water, Bob.
Anyways.
Or I can try scaring you, whichever you'd like.
So without the proper code to decode the cipher that they had that they're using to communicate with each other through the Tatler, the Tooth Fairy will know that it's fake. So they go ahead and just let the advertisement run as is.
And what if it encourages the Tooth Fairy to do something else beside right?
We'll all feel sick for a very long time.
And Graham then organizes an interview with Freddie Lowndes to give false statements about the Tooth Fairy.
Yes, he does.
Which is probably not a good idea, but they're trying to lure him out.
He's molested all of his male victims. He may be impotent with members of the opposite sex.
Yeah, with the intention that the Tooth Fairy would go after Graham and not.
He put the shorts on Charles Leeds after he was dead. I believe he did this to make sure we wouldn't think he was gay.
Someone else. After a sting operation fails to catch the killer, Lowndes is kidnapped by the Tooth Fairy and is forced to tape record a
Well, here I am.
Statement before being set on fire in a wheelchair. His flaming body rolled into the parking garage of the National Tatler as a warning.
That seems pretty cool.
I actually enjoy the remake of Red Dragon a little bit better, where it's Philip Seymour Hoffman playing the character, and he's
Philip
super
Seymour
glued.
Hoffman is so fucking good.
But he's super glued to the wheelchair.
Yes.
As opposed to just being tied to it.
Yeah. And he like can't move, and oh gosh. Yeah. We'll talk about that more when we get to that movie.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
The FBI is able to decode Lecter's coded message to the Tooth Fairy, and it's Graham's home address with an instruction to kill Graham and his family.
Save yourself, kill them all.
Graham rushes home to find his family safe, but terrified, and after the FBI moves Graham's family to a safe house, he explains to his son Kevin why he had retired previously.
You and Mom came to see me in the hospital, and that helped a lot. But after my body got okay, I still had his thoughts going around in my head. And a doctor friend of mine, Dr. Bloom, asked me to get some help. And I did.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to be left alone with Graham anymore.
Yeah. He's afraid of him. And I get it.
At his job in St. Louis Film Lab, which, by the way,
we're 45 minutes into the movie, I think.
55.
Okay.
55 minutes into the film.
Almost halfway into the film.
Where we first meet...
First?
Ride with me. It would be because I would like you to.
You know what? Sometimes stalking
words are hard.
That's a running joke in this household.
Yeah.
Amy at one point looked at me and she said, I can't stalk.
You can't stalk. Stalking's hard.
Stalking's hard. Anyway, so we're 55 minutes into the film before we even get our first glimpse at the killer.
Yeah.
55 minutes. That's halfway through this runtime of the film.
Before we even... let's talk about him
Tom
Noonan.
Oh
my gosh.
Hulking man.
Huge.
Even though they exaggerate his height in this by 2 inches.
But it doesn't matter. He's still just a very large man who is scary and creepy.
In reality, Tom Noonan is one of the nicest guys.
He's so kind and sweet. Yes.
Yeah, which it's always the big guys that are always so nice. I mean, we've talked about like Kane Hodder and C.J. Graham and all of them, and they're like some of the nicest people you'll ever fucking meet.
Yeah, kind,
so it's
gentle.
It's just weird, right? Gentle giants. Exactly. Get out of my fucking head.
Get out of my head. So.
Anyway, at his job at a St. Louis film lab, Francis Dollarhide, as we said, played by Tom Noonan, the Tooth Fairy, approaches a blind coworker, Reba McClane, and offers her a ride home.
Played by Joan Allen, which, can I just say, she's fantastic in this movie. I really love Joan Allen in this movie.
They go to Dollarhide's home, where Reba is oblivious to the fact that Dollarhide is watching home movies footage of his planned next victims.
She's blind. She don't know.
He's doing homework.
Yep. The following night, Graham realizes the Tooth Fairy murders are driven by a desire for acceptance. Meanwhile, which is why he wants them to watch him. He's putting the mirrors in their eyes so that he can...
Yeah, so he...
It feels goodwill because God has power. And if one does what God does enough times, one will become as God is.
Breaks like mirrors in the bathroom and finds like the perfect shard size to put in their eyes so he can be seen. If he wants to be seen, he shouldn't have killed them first.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dollarhide watches as Reba is escorted home by another coworker, and this is like, I mean, this really gives you a glimpse into Dollarhide's mindset and how he sees women, for one thing. He very much sees them as objects that he gets to keep for himself.
He also has, I think it's important to note that he has a hair lip.
Sure, he has.
He has a hair lip, which Reba wants to feel his face to see.
And
He's
he won't
smiling
let
at one
her.
point. He
Yeah.
refuses to let her because he doesn't want her to see the deformity that he has and be judged by said deformity.
Right.
So the fact that she was showing interest into him without seeing him, he enjoyed, and then she's on this date, for lack of a better term, with another
It wasn't
coworker.
even a date. He was taking her home. Like, okay, so Francis Dollarhide saw what he wanted to see.
Right.
What really happened is their coworker brought her up to the door. There was something on her cheek. He grabbed it, got it off of the cheek, and then said, okay, have a good night. And she went inside and he went back to his car. But Francis Dollarhide, all he saw was this man is helping her up to the door, and then he sees his hand going up to his face, and immediately his mind sees something different, and it's turned to rage. And he ends up murdering their coworker and abducting Reba.
Which is not what happens in the book.
That's okay.
We'll get to that.
That's what happens in this movie.
We'll get to that.
Francis is gone forever.
In the next film. Or the next iteration of this film, I should say. Searching for a connection between the murdered families, Graham realizes the killer must have seen their home movies because he actually has gone to the different families' houses and he's found this mark in a tree where he knows the killer was watching the family.
And he used a bolt cutter to cut a tree branch. And why would he bring a bolt cutter? Why did he know to bring a bolt cutter?
Because this family at one point had a padlock on a door that they later changed to a deadbolt.
He brought that along, but how would he have known that there was a padlock?
Right, exactly.
You've seen these films. Haven't you, my man?
And then
Graham
also
knew that there was
the
a padlock
dog,
because he watched it on the video.
Right, or there was the dog, or the other family's cat, or whatever. How did he know about the pets? This is how. He was watching their home videos. He brought bolt cutters to a home with a padlock in a home video. Graham and Crawford identified the lab in St. Louis where the films were processed. So now it's a matter of going through the lab's employee database to find the person that matches up with the colored hair strands that they found on Lecter's note or whatever, and all this other stuff that fit the profile
Their
of
race, their height, their...
Yeah.
So after determining which employees of these have seen these films, he and Crawford travel with a police escort to Dollarhide once they figure out.
By the way, that scene in the plane, they could not book a commercial flight. They could not. And they were moving locations anyway, so Michael Mann literally chartered a private jet and put them on the plane and filmed while flying.
No,
to
it
the
wasn't
next
even a
location.
private jet.
Yes, it was.
No, I read that it was just like a regular flight, and they bribed the...
That was
earlier in the film. Okay,
when he had the police files and the little girl saw the police files and freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, so earlier in the
That
film,
one.
they actually because they do go on a private jet. He even says get the jet ready or whatever. But yeah, no, that one they actually they couldn't get permission, so they just bought flights for all of their actors,
all the actors and the crew
and brought
everything,
discreetly brought film or cameras in their carry-on.
Yep.
And just filmed it.
and just
guerrilla style. They bribed the
flight attendants were pissed. The pilots were pissed. But what could they do? It was already done.
Yep.
But no, when they're flying to St. Louis to get to Dollarhide's facility or compound, whatever you want to call it, because whatever.
It is quite large.
It's a private jet that they were filming on, like, as they were flying. So they very much kind of did this guerrilla style.
A lot of guerrilla style stuff happened in this movie.
Also, Lecter's prison was not... I mean, you can tell just by looking at it.
It's just a room.
Well... Yeah, it was just a room, but I mean the prison facility itself that Graham's running out of.
Oh, yeah. That's not a prison.
It's an art museum.
Yeah.
That's exactly
very cool looking,
right.
but that's not a prison. No way.
It's honestly, in Silence of the Lambs and the subsequent films, that prison is fucking iconic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Agreed.
So, where were we at?
So...
yes.
Dollarhide prepares to... Okay, so after determining which employees have seen these films, they figure out that it's Francis Dollarhide is the one that lines up with height, weight, looks, all of that.
Right.
And Will and Crawford get on a plane with police escort, which this scene is just... It's not how it would work.
No.
But it's fun to think that this was how it would work. Anyways, so they get on a jet and they fly into St. Louis, and then they're literally like the second that they land, the police cars pull up and they jump off the plane and they jump into the police cars and they're going, and it's action.
This was the 80s.
Yes.
So this is how people thought film era, like how like police maneuvers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not how that works. Anyways, so they're going, they get to Dollarhide's house before backup gets there, but Will can't stop himself and he has to go in. I mean, it's just, it gets crazy. But, so they get a police escort to Dollarhide's home. Inside, Dollarhide is preparing to kill Reba with a piece of glass. Like, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida's playing, the music is just insane. There's this really cool thing that happens. Like, Will Graham he's out in the woods, like, going towards the house, right? And I don't know if you noticed this, but Will actually has his own theme. Whenever Will is, it's always very quiet, but whenever Will is on scene, in fact, if you look at the credits, the very first music number that comes up is Will's theme.
Well, because it opens up...
Or Graham's theme.
It opens up with Will Graham.
Right, and then so there's actually a song that is specific to Francis Dollarhide as well, that plays quietly in the background of all of his scenes.
Except for this one with
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
Right, which Michael Mann fought hard in the film.
Yes, which, like, this whole thing, so, like, as Will is coming up, you could hear Will's theme. It's this quiet, like, determined theme that's going in the background, very dreamy sort of sounding, and he's, like, out in the woods, and then he's watching... And you can hear In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida over the top of his theme. And then it goes inside and, you know...
Well, it goes inside. Seeing Dollarhide has someone with him. Graham lunges through a window.
Aren't we always jumping out of windows in horror movies? Graham just comes flying on in.
He is subdued by Dollarhide, who retrieves a shotgun and shoots.
Really subdued. He, like, throws him up against the wall. He is a big guy.
I know he is. And shoots 2 police officers and injures Crawford.
I mean, he goes hog wild.
Yeah, he goes Sam. I was gonna say, I don't know why. I mean, I know why they didn't call this Red Dragon. It was because there was like a failed movie that was called Year of the Dragon. It was
that's right.
They didn't want this associated with that.
The name Dragon they didn't want. Yeah, I remember reading that.
So they changed this to Manhunter. But they completely removed Dollarhide's scenes showing his tattoos of the Red Dragon based off the Michael Blake painting depicting like angel and demon or whatever like that, right?
So he did have tattoos in this originally?
Yeah.
Really?
They cut all the scenes showing the tattoos.
Huh.
Which is like a huge like part of like his character and like his mindset because
and his motivation
and with this painting. Which he does have. He does have copies of the painting.
Yeah, but it doesn't. What they do in Red Dragon to explain him becoming. He even says that in like some of the like writing that he says in this film. Talks about becoming the Red Dragon.
Right.
In Red Dragon, they really delve into that a lot better, and we'll talk about that when we go to that movie.
Right. So like, they removed a lot of the references of Red Dragon, the tattoos.
Painting.
They did have the painting in there, but
but it was a
about
poster. It wasn't like in Red Dragon, like he goes and actually sees he tries to consume.
The reason why I'm bringing this up right now, though, is that there is a scene coming up where Graham drops Dollarhide, right?
It's beautiful.
And there's an overhead shot where, like, the blood-stained pattern coming out from him forms like the wings of the dragon.
Yep.
And this was
he's laying like this with his arms open.
Right, but this was Mann's way of incorporating the Red Dragon back into it because he really wanted to name this Red Dragon, and the studios were like, "You're not fucking doing that."
Yeah.
So this was his way of like, "Fuck you, studio."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I bring up this whole like.
I mean, he's wounded. Will is wounded, but Dollarhide returns to the kitchen and is killed by Graham.
Which he loaded slugs in his gun that were not supposed to be lethal slugs. So how the fuck did he kill him?
I thought he had said earlier at the beginning that these are like one shot, one kill. These are the worst.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, right.
So like because he was telling him like you should never even you'll never even be in the same room as this guy. But if you do, these bullets will take him out right away.
Because Dennis Farina's character in the back
promised
is like,
him that he
Will,
would never.
Will, you're not gonna the SWAT's gonna get there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna use that gun. What the fuck are you doing? Stop. You're not. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, he takes him. He just starts shooting with those super bullets.
Like 6 shots. Yeah, I think he only had a 6-shooter too. Yeah. I think it was like a snub-nosed 38 or something.
Right. So Graham, Reba, and Crawford are all tended to by the paramedics, and Graham returns home to his family. And that's the end of the movie.
This one, yes, because that's not how the book ends.
No.
It's not how the actual the Red Dragon movie does.
Nope. For me, it's interesting. This movie, I said this to my partner last night when we were watching, or a few nights ago. It wasn't last night. A few nights ago when we were watching it together, that it almost feels like it was a made-for-TV movie because of the way that the cuts are.
Yeah.
It feels like there should be commercial breaks at certain parts in the movie.
And I think that has a lot to do with the way that films were made in the 80s.
Yes.
They were made with the intention for distribution on...
eventually going to television.
Sure. So I think they probably put in those beats where they could easily put in commercial breaks.
Right.
I don't know that for a fact, but I want to say that's a lot of what the 80s films were.
What I do like about this film is there's quite a few examples of it where you don't have to say anything, but so much is said without saying anything.
The visuals of this film are very stunning. I'll give Michael Mann that.
Yes.
But it very does...
The color work is beautiful.
But it very much does feel like a...
Miami Vice.
Yeah, like an extended episode of Miami Vice, which Michael Mann did do.
Yeah.
He actually did an episode of Miami Vice where he kind of remade this film into an hour-long episode or a 45-minute-long episode of Miami Vice, which whatever. That's not a remake of it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love this film. I really do. It holds a little piece because it was one of the. I mean, I saw it before Red Dragon, obviously not before Silence of the Lambs. But.
I did not know that this film existed until about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And if I knew that it existed, I did not know that it was a Hannibal Lecter story until about 5 years ago. Like right before we started this channel, I started doing like deep dives on like documentaries and finding out all kinds of stuff about horror films and stuff like that. And that's when I found this, and I was like, "What? There was a
what now?
There was a Hannibal Lecter before,
and it was Brian Cox.
What? What?
Say what now?
Right. So obviously, I had to get this at some point, and so I watched this after I watched all of the other Hannibal movies and everything like that. The biggest gripe that I have with this, and this is the biggest gripe that most people have with this, is the fact that this is a Hannibal Lecter story, and there's very little Hannibal Lecter
he's only
the
in it
entirety
for like maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes of screen time total. And that was Michael...
They talk about him more.
Right. That was Michael Mann's decision, because he wanted to make the audience feel like they could not get enough of Hannibal Lecter. there were talks of adapting the other ones with Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter, and because this underperformed and was not that great financially, they decided to, when they did do the sequel, recast everybody. In fact, Frankie Faison, who plays a lieutenant in this, is the only actor to appear in 4 separate Hannibal Lecter films. This one, Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon, and Hannibal itself.
Yeah.
So, but that was my biggest gripe, is the fact we did not get enough Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen the opening where Will Graham literally takes down Lecter.
Yeah.
Like that opening sequence in Red Dragon, like it was like a 10-15 minute sequence where Graham is literally on the prowl and shows up at Lecter's house and everything like that and takes him down. I feel like that should have been in this.
Yeah.
I needed more Lecter. Give me more Lecter.
Understandable.
He's delectable.
Either way, this is a bloody machete up for me. I love this movie.
To the fucking sky.
I love this movie. I think it's really well written. I love the way that it plays out.
Visually, it's
There's
stunning.
a lot of really dreamy qualities to it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I just wish we got more Lecter.
Yeah, agreed.
And we're going to get this the fuck out of here.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Alright. What are we doing next, Allie?
Well, you know, we have a convention coming up. Horror Fiesta Volume 2. In case you weren't unaware.
Yes. We've been talking about it, y'all.
Yeah.
If you ain't been following our socials, then that's your fault.
But we have a celebrity that will be in tow at Horror Fiesta Volume 2.
He is our friend.
Yes.
He's mostly Hallie's friend, but I'm gonna make him my friend too.
You're just jealous that I have his phone number.
Jelly. I'm a little jelly.
Anyway, Mr. Brett Wagner is going to be in attendance at Horror Fiesta Volume 2. He is known as the Lost Leatherface for a reason. So with that being said, what do you say we do Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We are going to be kicking off our Halloween treat to you. From now until the end of October, we are going to be bringing you the golden age of horror movie remakes in that wonderful year of like 2003 to about 2010.
Yes, the early aughts. We're taking it back. We are going to do all of the remakes. Well, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Lots of remakes from that period of time.
But definitely the most prolific slasher remakes from like 2003 to 2010.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th,
Halloween, The Hills
of Eyes. We are finally going to do the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes, you guys.
As if we haven't done enough Rob Zombie lately.
Well, and as if we haven't done enough Halloween.
That was a year.
That was last year. It was last year. We had to do it. We had to do it. We had to.
We had to. And I didn't know any better way to like bum rush through the entire franchise than to just.
Yes.
I will say I do enjoy breaking it up and doing it like this as opposed to doing week after week after week, because I got so tired of talking about Michael Myers and Halloween.
Me too. I love Michael. But it gets tiring after a while.
But with that being said, be sure to come back next week when we are diving into the 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
With Mr. Brett Wagner.
Yes.
With about 45 seconds of screen time.
So make sure you watch this, come back to us next week, and don't forget to slash the subscribe button.
Stab that like button, or, run a chainsaw through it.
Yeah. And ring-a-ling-a-ling that great bell so you don't get buried alive and you stay up to date on all the things that we are doing right here on YouTube. And until next time, we will see you all in the afterlife.